The judge gazed into my eyes and declared, "We are poised to deliver our ruling." My heart sank. Air eluded me. My hands grasped the table with such intensity that I could feel my nails pressing into the wood. I believed this was the moment. I feared I was on the brink of losing my beloved son. Suddenly, as if summoned by an unseen force, my 6-year-old son, Theo, gracefully rose from the gallery. He strolled to the heart of the courtroom, clutching a crumpled piece of paper he had tenderly folded into his Spider-Man backpack that very morning. His voice, though soft, resonated with clarity. "Your Honor," he began, "I wish to share something." All eyes in the courtroom came to a standstill. Silence enveloped the space, as if time itself held its breath, not a whisper nor a rustle to be heard. All gazes were drawn to him, this small boy clad in an oversized navy sweater, standing before the judge, clutching a letter with both hands as if it were the sole anchor holding him steady. Words eluded me. I found myself utterly still. I gazed at him, my heart racing with an intensity that was almost painful. His next words transformed the very essence of our reality. "I am known as Elena Carter. I am 33 years of age, a freelance graphic designer, and the proud mother of a charming little boy named Theo. He is 6 years old. He has a fondness for dinosaurs, enjoys peanut butter on all his meals, and prefers to drift into slumber with the lights aglow. He possesses my gaze, coupled with his father's serene and unwavering manner of observing the world around him. Before the shadows descended, our existence was beautifully uncomplicated. Imperfect, yet beautifully simple. We resided in a quaint 2-bedroom cottage at the town's serene outskirts. The rent was quite reasonable, and the backyard offered a charming little nook, perfect for a sandbox and a vintage swing set I acquired second-hand. It may have been modest, yet it belonged to us, a cherished treasure of our own. Daniel, my beloved husband and the father of Theo, tragically departed from this world 2 years ago in a car accident. It unfolded on a rainy Tuesday, a day draped in soft whispers of the sky. The memory lingers of the dish I was preparing when the call came through. A delightful chicken stir-fry. I never achieved it once more. For a time, I found myself uncertain of how I would navigate life in his absence. Our journey began in the halls of college, where our hearts first intertwined. He was the very first soul to envelop me in a sense of safety. That day, I lost more than just my partner. The future we envisioned together has slipped away from us. Yet, in the presence of Theo, I found a salvation that was beyond words. The days that followed Daniel's passing melded into one another, a soft haze of sorrow and remembrance. Though I was enveloped in sorrow and weariness, I continued to be there for Theo, unwavering in my devotion. Each morning, I would rise with purpose, preparing his little lunchbox with care, escorting him to kindergarten with a smile that masked my heart's ache. Once home, I would find solace in the soft embrace of laundry, allowing my tears to flow freely. He never witnessed my moments of vulnerability. I took great care to ensure that. In his moment of need, I transformed into the very essence of strength for him. We grew intimately connected. Nearer than ever before. Nico would nestle beside me on the couch, wrapped in his cherished blanket, softly murmuring, "Don't be sad, Mommy. I have arrived." He spoke little, yet his silence conveyed all that was necessary. We danced to our own melody, discovering solace in each other's embrace, and then there was Margot, my mother-in-law. From the very start, Beatrice held a disapproving gaze upon me. She believed I lacked the refinement she desired, that I hailed from a family not deemed suitable. She once confided in Daniel, right before my eyes, that I was a kind-hearted girl who ought to have remained within my own path. Daniel consistently dismissed her, assuring her that she would eventually see things differently. She never did, my dear. In the wake of his passing, Beatrice gracefully wove herself into the fabric of our lives, her presence marked by a gentle yet unwavering determination. Initially, I believed she was mourning as well, perhaps yearning to maintain a bond with Theo. I permitted her to come and see me. I extended invitations to her for birthdays, school recitals, and family dinners. Yet her remarks continued unabated. "You allowed him to linger in the night a little too long. He requires a touch more organization. He requires no such tender indulgence. She would cast a disdainful glance as I gently tucked Nicoin, serenading him with sweet bedtime melodies, or when I allowed him the freedom to select his own delightfully mismatched attire. Her gaze lingered on me, a quiet judgment woven into the air, ever-present and unyielding. One enchanting afternoon, I discovered her in the kitchen, gracefully presenting Nico with a brochure for an exclusive prep school. I was entirely unaware of its existence. When I conveyed to her that we were unable to indulge in that at this moment, she responded without hesitation. "Well," she said, gently stirring her tea, "some environments simply nurture children more beautifully. Not every mother perceives that truth." I remained silent. Yet, I began to establish my own boundaries. Visits are few, and the guidelines are well-defined. It was then that the warmth began to fade. She began to ponder the depths of all that surrounded her. The realms of my profession, my financial pursuits, and the art of nurturing my children. One day, Nico returned home after a delightful weekend spent with her and inquired, "Mommy, do you believe I would find more happiness living with Grandma?" It was as if a dagger pierced my heart. In that moment, I realized that this transcended mere love or support. It was a matter of mastery. Beatrice believed I was not quite on the right path. She yearned to seize control. She glimpsed a chance, and she embraced it. 2 weeks later, a sumptuous envelope graced my doorstep. Legal documents, a hearing regarding custody. She sought to draw Nico away from my embrace. As I delicately unfolded that envelope and beheld the phrase, "petition for custody," a wave of numbness washed over my hands. As I settled onto the cool kitchen floor, the letter slipped through my fingers, crumpling softly in my grasp. Nico sat in the living room, engrossed in the vibrant world of cartoons, blissfully unaware that his reality was on the brink of a profound transformation. The petition expressed Margot's desire for full custody of Theo. Neither shared nor supervised. She asserted that I was emotionally unsteady, financially precarious, and unable to offer Nico a secure haven. There were entire paragraphs in which she depicted me as a sorrowful figure, unable to even dress my child appropriately, much less nurture him. What could be more disheartening? She was not wholly mistaken. Indeed, I was in mourning. Indeed, there were instances when tears graced my cheeks in the solitude of the shower, or when the laundry lay untouched, a testament to fleeting moments of distraction. Yet, I made my presence known for my son. With each passing day, I nourished him, embraced him, assisted with his studies, and gently kissed his forehead during his restless nights. I was his sanctuary. And now, there was a voice attempting to convey that this was insufficient for the world. I reached out to Sophia, my beloved older sister, and she arrived with grace within the hour. She perused the papers with care, her gaze lingering over the words twice before uttering a single remark. "She may be employing underhanded tactics, Jess, but you mustn't allow her to triumph." I engaged the services of a public defender, as my financial circumstances left me with no other options. He possessed a gentle kindness, yet found himself burdened by the weight of his many responsibilities. His counsel was primarily to remain serene. Show the utmost respect. Record every detail. He failed to evoke a sense of assurance. In the meantime, Beatrice had engaged the services of one of the most esteemed family lawyers in the county, a distinguished expert in high-profile custody disputes. I began to document each encounter in a journal. I unearthed Theo's school reports, pediatrician notes, photographs, and teacher emails, anything that illuminated his well-being, joy, and security. Each evening, once Nico had drifted into slumber, I found myself on the living room floor, enveloped by a sea of folders and printed emails. The soft hum of reruns lingered in the background, a gentle companion to keep my thoughts from fraying at the edges. And then came the courtly affair. The initial hearing was merely procedural, yet it was sufficient to instill a sense of trepidation within me. Beatrice sat gracefully in her navy blue suit, exuding the poise of a CEO commanding her empire. She greeted Nico with a smile as he entered, yet her gaze lingered on me, sharp and intent, like a hawk observing its prey. Her lawyer exuded sophistication and assurance, skillfully transforming minor details into profound reflections of character. He remarked that she lacks a steady source of income. She toils from the comfort of her home, though not quite with fervor. She finds herself without family close by to offer their support. She endures the weight of anxiety, her heart still heavy with the sorrow of her beloved husband's absence. It is our belief that Ms. Carter, despite her good intentions, may lack the emotional resources to fulfill Theodore's needs in the long run. A cry of longing stirred within me. I felt an overwhelming urge to rise and proclaim that none of those things defined me as a flawed mother. Yet I remained motionless, just as my lawyer advised me to do. Serene. Honorable. Upon returning home, Nico felt an unsettling presence in the air. One evening, after he had brushed his teeth, he turned to me and asked, "Am I going to have two homes now?" Words eluded me in that moment. Alas, I found myself untruthful. "Oh, my dear, no. Mother is simply navigating through some adult matters. All shall be well." Yet, beneath the surface, uncertainty lingered within me. Beatrice began to unveil more of her enchanting charms. She placed a discreet call to Child Protective Services, offering an anonymous tip. It was said that I had abandoned Nikoto to his solitude throughout the day. In the midst of a client Zoom call, a caseworker appeared unexpectedly at my door. Theo, clad in his cozy pajamas, was immersed in the enchanting world of Legos at the kitchen table. I responded to each inquiry with care, guided her through the home with grace, and extended my hand to share connections with Theo's educators and pediatrician. She departed with grace, yet her essence remained, swirling softly like wisps of smoke in the atmosphere. On the following night, I secured the door and wept softly into the laundry basket. During that enchanting week, Nico crafted a beautiful picture for me. It was a charming stick-figure depiction of us, hand in hand, poised gracefully before our home. A whimsical speech bubble danced gracefully above my cartoon head. "My affection for you surpasses all else." I placed it upon the fridge and gazed at it for what felt like an eternity. Though the conclusion remained a mystery, a singular truth resonated within me, echoing through every fiber of my being. I refused to surrender. Not on my beloved son. Not without a struggle. The eve of the final custody hearing found me restless, sleep eluding my grasp. At the kitchen table, I cradled a mug of cold tea, surrounded by papers that formed a protective barrier. Among them were emails from Theo's teacher, extolling his progress, notes from his pediatrician celebrating his healthy development, and the charming drawings he had created at school. I took the liberty of printing the charming flyer from the local library's delightful Mommy and Me Reading Hour, a cherished gathering we attended every Tuesday. I yearned to be prepared. I sought to reveal that Nico was not merely enduring my presence. He was flourishing. Yet, uncertainty continued to seep through the delicate fissures. What if the judge perceived me through the same lens as Beatrice did? What if they believed that my sorrow rendered me fragile? What if my emotions, my gentleness, and my honesty somehow suggested that I was unworthy of the role of a mother? Lena graced my presence to assist me in preparing. She arrived with an assortment of snacks untouched by my lips and a delicate folder filled with cherished photographs she believed might inspire me. Theo's third birthday, the enchanting first day of preschool, a delightful selfie of us baking cookies, our faces adorned with flour like a playful masterpiece. "You possess all that you require," she murmured softly, her hand resting delicately over mine. "Allow them to glimpse the true essence of your being." As the evening unfolded and she departed, I discovered Nico seated gracefully on the floor of his room, his legs crossed, pen in hand, inscribing delicate thoughts upon a sheet of lined notebook paper. "What delightful endeavor are you currently engaged in, my friend?" I inquired, gracefully kneeling beside him. He gazed upward, his eyes imbued with a seriousness that seemed far too profound for one so young, barely 6 years of age. He spoke softly, declaring, "I am composing a letter for the judge." I took a moment to gather my thoughts. "A missive?" He nodded, as if to convey the depth of my desire to remain by your side. A sensation of constriction enveloped my throat. Theo, that is truly kind, but it's quite all right, dear mother, he replied swiftly. I shall refrain from speaking ill of Grandma. My desire is simply for them to understand the beauty of being in your presence. With a gentle motion, he folded the paper into quarters, tucking it away delicately into his backpack. I shall carry it with me, just in case. I found myself at a loss regarding that matter. A part of me longed to express a gentle refusal, to convey that it was not his burden to bear in this delicate moment. Yet, the other part, the one that recognized the brilliance, kindness, and profound emotions within my son, simply nodded and embraced him warmly. The following morning dawned with a chill in the air and a blanket of gray overhead. Nico donned his cherished navy sweater, adorned with a charming little dinosaur patch on the sleeve. I gently braided his hair back into a delicate little bun, just as he preferred, and thoughtfully packed an extra snack, just in case. We lingered quietly in the shadows of the courtroom, anticipation hanging in the air. Margot graced the scene in a designer coat, her patent leather heels adding a touch of sophistication to her ensemble. Her lawyer entered the room, carrying a briefcase that seemed to surpass the value of my entire wardrobe. I made an effort to avert my gaze from them. I concentrated on the warmth of Theo's hand intertwined with mine. As the judge beckoned us to step forward, I stood alongside my lawyer, inhaling deeply to steady my nerves. The attorney representing Margot took the lead. He eloquently discussed the virtues of financial stability, the comfort of routine, and the advantages of a two-parent household, which she could seemingly replicate with the assistance of a live-in nanny and tutors. He suggested that my home was a realm of tumult and delicate emotions. I maintained an expression of serene composure. I reflected on Sophia's words, allowing them to witness the essence of my being. As my moment arrived, I spoke with a serene grace. I shared with the judge the tender details of our daily rituals, the laughter of school days, the quiet moments of homework, and the enchanting tales of bedtime stories. I presented a glimpse into Theo's journey, highlighting his blossoming friendships, the warmth of his comfort, and the embrace of his security. I held back my tears. I did not plead. I simply spoke the truth. At that moment, just as the judge inclined his head to conclude the hearing, Nico gently grasped my hand. He rose gracefully, leaving the bench behind, and advanced with a gentle, measured pace. Your Honor, he said, gently grasping the same folded piece of notebook paper. May I share with you a piece of my writing? The judge blinked, taken aback by the unexpected turn of events. Did you pen something, my dear son? Nico inclined his head gracefully. Indeed, my dear sir. This is meant for you. The room fell into a profound silence. Even Margot appeared as if time had paused, her expression a delicate blend of uncertainty and wonder at the unfolding scene. The judge cast a glance in my direction before turning his gaze back to Theo. Very well, he replied. Please, proceed. Nico delicately unfolded the paper, laying it gracefully upon the desk before him, and with a gentle clearing of his throat, prepared to share his thoughts. Nico stood there, delicate yet resolute, cradling that piece of paper as if it were a fragile treasure. His voice remained steady. Allow me to introduce myself, I am Nico Carter, he began. I am but 6 years of age. I have a fondness for dinosaurs, the delightful taste of grilled cheese, and the joy of playing with my mother. I wish to share my life with my mother. The courtroom remained still. The judge inclined his head gently, hands gracefully folded beneath his chin. Nico cast his gaze downward, engrossed in the pages before him. My mother envelopes me in her warm embrace whenever I am feeling down. On Sundays, she lovingly prepares pancakes and graciously allows me to pour the syrup, even when it spills a little. Her laughter dances in the air as I share my whimsical jokes, even those that defy reason. In the depths of my nightmares, she graciously invites me to find solace in her bed. She refers to me as her heart. My throat tightened. My eyes ignited with a fierce intensity, yet I found myself unwilling to surrender to the temptation of a blink. I wished to savor every fleeting moment. Nico continued, his delicate fingers gently clasping the paper with increasing intensity. At times, we find ourselves longing for my dad, sharing tears in our sorrow. Yet, she comforts me with cherished tales of him, as we light a candle and speak of the beautiful memories we hold dear. She whispers that it is perfectly fine to embrace sadness, just as it is to welcome joy once more. He took a moment, raising his gaze to meet the judge's eyes. I am aware that my grandmother holds a deep affection for me, yet she often remarks that my mother is rather gentle. I believe that softness possesses a certain charm. I yearn to dwell in a place that allows my heart to truly experience the depths of emotion. I long to share my life with someone who allows me to embrace my inner child. With a delicate touch, he folded the letter and cast a gentle gaze around the room. All was quiet and serene. Even Beatrice had cast her gaze downward. I merely wished to share this with you, he murmured softly. My heartfelt gratitude to you. He then turned and gracefully returned to my side, settling into the seat beside me, and gently took my hand in his. I felt the urge to succumb, yet I found the strength to hold on. Not at this moment. The judge's gaze lingered upon us. He reclined in his chair, lost in thought for what felt like an eternity. The air in the room was charged with an electric tension, palpable and alive. At last, he found his voice. This court graciously recognizes the testimony provided by the young Mr. Nico Carter. Though we generally refrain from putting children in the role of witnesses, it is evident that his expressions were authentically his, revealing a profound emotional insight. I find them utterly captivating. My heart soared, then stilled. Compelling was not a decree. The judge gracefully shifted his attention to Margot's attorney. I have carefully examined the petition and the accompanying evidence presented by Mrs. Langston and her esteemed legal team. There exists no record of abuse, no medical issues, and no expert testimony indicating that Ms. Carter is unfit. The court holds that financial disparity, in and of itself, does not serve as sufficient grounds for separating a child from his mother, particularly when the child's emotional well-being is evidently stable and a strong bond is present. Beatrice parted her lips to utter a word, yet the judge lifted his hand, silencing her softly. Moreover, he elaborated, the child has conveyed a heartfelt and eloquent wish to stay with his mother. This holds considerable importance in our choice. He turned to face me, a gentle warmth gracing his expression. Ms. Carter, this court has determined that you are indeed suitable to maintain both full legal and physical custody of your beloved son. Discussions regarding visitation arrangements with Mrs. Langston may be facilitated through mediation. However, the court finds no justification for seeking a permanent alteration of custody. In that fleeting moment, I found myself utterly still. It felt as though a heavy burden had been gently removed from my heart. My legs wobbled like delicate strands, my hands trembled with anticipation, yet I reached out and drew Nico into my embrace. He held me close, encircling my neck with his arms as he often did when he sought solace. This time, it was I who found myself in need of it. Beatrice remained silent as we strolled by her. She sat with an air of tension, her jaw set firmly, her hands delicately gripping the handles of her purse, as if holding on to a fragile secret. I refrained from gloating. I averted my gaze from her entirely. I continued my stroll, grasping Theo's hand with a gentle yet firm embrace. We emerged into the warm embrace of the sunlight. The air had grown a touch warmer. Nico gazed up at me, a gentle smile gracing his lips. Did I do well, dear mother? I gracefully knelt and pressed my lips to his forehead. You have rescued us from despair. The morning following the hearing, the house exuded a distinct aura. Not because anything had altered in the physical realm. Nico rose with the dawn, gently coaxing me into the kitchen to assist him in preparing a simple bowl of cereal. The furniture remained unchanged. The lingering aroma of lavender from the candle we cherished during our morning meal still danced in the air, yet a subtle transformation had taken place within me. I had transcended mere survival. I had battled fiercely for my son, and in the end, victory was mine. That morning, I discovered his letter, the very one he had read in court, gracefully affixed to the refrigerator with a charming dinosaur magnet. He had inscribed his name at the bottom in crimson crayon, accompanied by a delicate little heart beside it. I lingered there for what felt like an eternity, savoring each line anew, until my vision danced and I found myself compelled to take a seat. He penned those words for me, not out of obligation, nor with the intention of aiding my victory, but because he truly saw me. He sensed the depth of our connection, and in his own tender manner, he rose to safeguard it. That afternoon, we strolled through the park, lost in our own world, just the two of us. I allowed him to linger on the swings a bit longer than intended and indulged him with an ice cream, despite dinner being just an hour away. Upon our return home, he gently inquired if we might dial his father's old number and leave a message, just as we once did. I gently brought the phone to his ear as he softly murmured, "Daddy? The judge has granted me the privilege of remaining with my mother." I possessed courage, much like you do. In that moment, I found myself unable to contain the tears that flowed freely. It is often the case that individuals fail to recognize the depth of understanding that children possess. They believe that youth is synonymous with ignorance. Yet, Nico was aware. He sensed the palpable tension in the air. He perceived the tension etched upon my features, caught the soft murmurs of my phone conversations, and recognized the moments I lingered by his side a little too long. He was attuned to every nuance. Yet, he embraced hope with unwavering grace. He embraced love. A few weeks later, we found ourselves in the presence of a court-appointed mediator, engaging in a delicate conversation about Margot's visitation rights. The atmosphere was charged, yet maintained an air of civility. I consented to supervised visits once a month, not out of a desire to have her in our lives, but rather because Nico cherished her in his own unique manner. I wished to spare him the lesson that love must always be accompanied by its darker counterpart. She never offered an apology, neither for the custody battle nor for the fabrications woven in court, nor for her attempts to unravel the life I had so carefully constructed. Yet, those actions no longer held the power to shatter my spirit. Through all of this, a significant revelation dawned upon me. Embracing motherhood does not require perfection. It does not signify possessing the grandest abode or the most prestigious career, nor does it entail always having the perfect response at hand. It signifies being present, even in moments of fatigue. It signifies placing another's desires above your own pride, fears, and sorrows. It signifies the act of bestowing love unreservedly, even in moments of uncertainty about its sufficiency. For them, it suffices. There was a moment when I believed that tenderness equated to fragility, that shedding tears or embracing Nico with fervor would somehow validate Margot's perspective. Yet now, my perspective has shifted. Gentle does not equate to frailty. Gentle embraces convey a sense of security. Gentleness embodies true strength in what truly matters. Nico imparted that wisdom to me. There are moments when I find myself awakening in the stillness of the night, a whisper of doubt lingering in my heart, fearing that the court ruling was merely a figment of my imagination. I glide softly down the hall, casting a gentle glance into his room, where he lies in slumber, his legs entwined in the blankets, mouth slightly ajar, one arm cradling his stuffed tiger as if it guards the mysteries of the cosmos. In that moment, I release a gentle breath. We are well, indeed. Beyond satisfactory. We are complete. If you are a parent or have ever battled to safeguard someone dear to your heart, you understand the depth of this emotion. You are familiar with the anxiety of feeling helpless and the passionate flame it ignites within you. One can truly understand the sting of being overlooked, disregarded, and made to feel inadequate. Yet, I trust you understand that your love holds significance, even in moments of silence, even when it faces doubt. And if no one has whispered it to you today, know that you are achieving more than you realize. If this tale resonated with you, if it brought to mind a cherished soul or a passion you've ardently pursued, I invite you to take a moment to express your appreciation for this video. It offers more than you can imagine. Share it with a soul who may be in need of a glimmer of hope today, perhaps someone navigating the complexities of a custody battle or striving to keep their family united, one precious day at a time. Kindly share your thoughts in the comments below. I would be delighted to listen to your tale. Have you ever been made to feel as though you fell short of someone's expectations? What have you been up to? What inspired your ascent? At last, should you desire more authentic and compelling tales such as these, narratives woven with strength, love, and the transformative moments that alter our lives, consider subscribing to the channel. Tap the notification bell, ensuring you remain in tune with all that is to come. Thank you for your presence, for your attentive ear, for the warmth of your concern. From one heart to another, cherish yourself and embrace those dear to you.